If you thought the last 4 years were difficult, the next four will be even harder. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today, what we're dealing with is an anomaly. If you look at it historically, you have seen times where things have become expensive. We've watched inflation take off, but there have always been periods where people can simply afford their daily expenses. We have had bubbles in the past. We have looked at basically everything you could imagine, and yet still we are dealing with circumstances that are only going to become more challenging. I'm going to talk about those today, as well as some of the things that you can do to hopefully reduce the impact that these have on your daily lives. Does that sound interesting? Let's begin. You can see this, our cost of living crisis in just 3 years. Rent and groceries are up nearly 40%. 40%. This is talking about Canada, but I know for people in the United States, in Europe, and other places, we are all dealing with the same thing. Everything has become expensive. And so, what are people doing? What are the so called solutions? Well, what they're saying here is that we need to go to the discount shops. We need to buy the no name products versus the brand name. Those are small changes. Yes, they do help, but ultimately the prices will rise. And this is the issue that people just can't get handled. It's because they're doing what they can, but at the same time they're being burdened. They've got a 9 to 5 job, they've got family obligations, all these different things, and hey, life gets in the way. The one thing that I talk about consistently here is that we must buy in bulk. The more bulk you buy, the more you will save. Now that's an obvious thing. Hey, I'll go to Costco. Yeah, I get that. But when you buy, you have to buy in the right, at the right places. For instance, you can go to the food terminal. The food terminal is where that food comes in from the farms in a completely different place. It's making its way in. It could be from, halfway around the world. It could be from some other place. It goes to the food terminal. And then from the food terminal, that acts as a distribution center. So that could be, for instance, for landscapers, they got flowers and things that's there. But then you also have where the grocery stores, the small grocery stores, pick up their produce over there. There's all kinds of stuff there, in fact, but that's where you can get a significant discount because you're basically cutting the middleman out. The same thing, of course, with farms, but it depends on where you live, obviously. So that's just one thing. And if people would do that, they would make a big difference. Now you say, hey, that's a lot of food to buy a case at a time. Well, of course, you have to arrange this with other people who are not completely oblivious to the circumstances they have found themselves in. This is what you have to do. We are beyond the point of, yeah, I'll get there when, no, we are there now today. I am losing my mind behind the rosy jobs numbers. Americans are struggling to find work. Companies are warier about hiring. Workers compete for fewer spots, and a large share of employees fear layoffs. What I have seen over and over again, in fact, has been it's just wild to see the numbers, but there have been so many positions that I have seen where the amount of people employed is not just in the hundreds, but in the thousands of people applying for jobs. And we've got people with MBAs, we've got people with master's degrees. These are supposedly highly educated people who cannot find work. And the jobs are not too fantastic either. Some people are saying, hey, I'll just get whatever I can, but it isn't happening for some people. And that is a serious issue, right? They talk about the data, and here, of course, getting so many applicants, and they could be choosy. Employers could be super choosy with who they have right now. Canada's government, okay, their spending has growing twice the pace of the revenue. So you see what's happening here. The situation can't get better because the government's spending so much and they are not giving back to the people. We are wasting money at this time. The money that gets spent doesn't come back to us in the form of benefits. We're not seeing the benefit of that. And as a result, things get worse. They go downhill. That's why we have to be absolutely attentive to where each and every one of our dollars goes to make sure that we stop the bleeding as best we can to get out of any bad debt, because that, of course, is high interest rate, and we want to be out of that. And then we have to make the right decisions. Very important stuff. All right. This is what I see a big trend of. Flex tirement. Well, this is apparently the future of work. Flex tirement has everything to do with striking a balance between employees and employers, as opposed to flipping the switch from employee to retiree. And I think what they say here is, it's good for the employer. This is what they say for the employer. So that when the old guy moves on, that he doesn't take all that knowledge with him out the door, that he's there part-time, and then the new guy comes in and he's sort of cross-training him. Sure, for the employer. But what's really happening here is that people can't afford to retire. So yeah, I'm 65, I can't afford to retire, and now I'm working here part-time. I don't have the benefits that I used to, and things are sort of challenging. That's what I see, okay? A lot of people, they can't afford to retire. They have health complications. They have somebody who needs them at home. These are the things of reality that are not shared here, of course, in this article. Conditions are worsening. Expenses are going up. Expect that. If I tell you that right now, I was 100% certain, okay? I'm the soothsayer today, and I say that the conditions will get worse and prices will go up. What will you do as a result of that? Now, start to do the digging, start to take the actions based on that. Canadians receiving unemployment benefits are up 18% from last year, and they're just up and up and up. People need more assistance, or people are getting more assistance, and that puts an additional burden, of course, on the government and how much they have to pay. That's taxpayer money. All right. This is talking about the potential. This is, they wanted to get this through, all about Social Security retirement. We want to push the retirement age up. And of course, they said, absolutely not. We're not going to do that. We don't want people to retire later. But we've seen this before in other countries in Europe, where they basically said, hey, you were retiring at 65, well, then it's 67, and then it's 68, and then so on and so forth. People, I hope that they wouldn't necessarily just retire and then go sit on the couch, because we know what happens in that realm when people do that. But if they want to, because they want to go and they want to take care of this or take care of that, or they want to, maybe have fun and, do their gardening every day or do their exercising every day, whatever the case may be, that's a whole different story. But what's happening here is people are destitute in many cases. They can't afford their lives. They're doing anything they can to get by. I'm seeing this all over the place. And the retirement age ultimately will likely continue to increase. It's probably going to be the case. There's no way that governments, Canada, US, wherever, that are going to be able to afford what they have to. Because we know so many baby boomers are retiring and there's not enough new money coming on in to this Ponzi. Dollar's superpower status at risk from turmoil at home and abroad. I don't necessarily think that this is entirely true overall, but we can debate that over, what has happened. The dollar is the number one. It's the strongest, but it's losing its position globally. That will take a long time. It's eroding. We see that. It's now somewhere between 58 and 59% of total global reserves. So it's not 100%. Don't think reserve currency 100%. It's 59 to 58%, somewhere in that range. But when you look at number 2 and number 3, they are way, way down there. Okay, so the US dollar has that monopoly. There's no question about it. But things are changing, and we'll see how that goes. But as long as they have that, that gives the United States this massive, absolutely massive advantage over all other countries. If you are outside of the US, number one priority, figure out how to start earning US dollars. Absolutely critical. Okay, I talk about that on my Sunday Business Live all the time. Total US debt. This is, of course, a concern for so many different reasons. But if they aren't, basically finding themselves in debt that they'll never be able to pay back, that puts that burden on. They're not going to give the people the benefits, and it's not going to make its way. Like if you're paying interest on that debt, whether that interest rate is higher or moderate or whatever, the money gets paid on the interest before it goes to your infrastructure, to your healthcare, to your benefits. You got to realize that. People don't think about that. They're like, yeah, just keep adding debt. It's okay, because I'm going to get everything I want. No. Interest gets paid before you do. Keep that in mind. This is just talking about look at this. Look how many commas are here. Okay, that's 167 billion. $167 billion added to the US national debt in 20 days. Even the Citadel CEO is saying that the government spending is borderline insanity. And in fact, I think it is pure insanity. And that's where we are at today. So that's what I'm telling you here. You have these conditions that have been set up that are going to make your life continue to be worse unless you can get a leap forward, a leap ahead. I have what's called the How to End Solutions playlist on my YouTube channel. You just scroll down, How to End Solutions, click play, and you'll get all kinds of different solutions. I have Compass. Compass is free financial education. Every single viewer should have already gone through Compass or will be doing so as of this video. And you got to share that with your friends and family. I made that link, Compass, themoneygps.com. Click on Compass. There is no reference to my YouTube channel, no reference to my books, no reference to links anywhere, so that you can just send someone to that page. They get the financial education, and they don't have to know about the Fed. They don't have to know about, BlackRock, none of that. It's just pure financial education, so you can get that and feel comfortable, of course, sharing that with your friends and family. I do appreciate that very much. Hit that thumbs up button on the way out. When you do so, you are supporting this channel. This is extremely important. Got to get the word out there. I want to thank you for that. Make sure you check the How to End Solutions playlist. All kinds of good stuff in there. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.